think we're good. Can you guys hear us at least here? Yeah, so hopefully it's working for the recording too. So, good evening. Welcome to the November 8th, 2022 meeting of the Manchester Town Council. Happy Election Day. Polls close here in Maryland, in 30 minutes. So hopefully you've already made it. If not, you may want to rush over and we'll get you when you get back. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business, approval of the October 11th, 2022 minutes. You should receive those electronically and receive 8 to 10 copies in your packet. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for October 11th, 2022.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and second, no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we have receipt of September 22 Treasurer's Report. Same thing. I think we only got one paper and copy. We have a motion to, not approve, to receive the Treasurer's Report from September.
I'll make a motion, we receive the September Treasurer's Report.
I'll second it.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then same thing with the check register for October, Treasurer's Report to follow next month. A motion to receive the check register for October.
I'll make a motion, we receive the check register for October 2022.
I'll second the motion.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Mayor's Report. I got a couple of things on here. I know I was texting with the chief on Halloween. That's always one of the days that makes me really nervous. I think I text you a couple of times, several times on every Halloween, making sure we got coverage in all the neighborhoods, making sure everything went all right. It's a little rainy. It looked like there was a good number of kids out there, so everybody that helped, thankfully we had another successful Halloween here in town. Everybody got the candy and makes it home safe. So great job. Yard waste pickup every Wednesday through November 30th, so it's the end of this month. Yard waste is grass clippings, leaves, small branches, not in excess of 3 feet or 4 inches in diameter, folded arm-full loads. Don't mix with mulch, dirt, residential trash, pet waste. If you can get those down by the curb, helps to get that stuff efficiently, and we can keep that service up. Again, just a reminder, no plastic bags. In addition to the yard waste leaf pickup, we're going to go through December 5th. Still a good number of leaves to come down. I know a lot came down over the last week. So if you can get those down to the road, Public Works will get those as soon as they can. Please be patient. I know a lot is out. I did see the trucks out there picking that stuff up. And, town offices here will be closed Friday, November 11th for Veterans Day, November 24th and 25th for Thanksgiving. However, on 25th, Black Friday is back. I know we've done it. Really hasn't been the same since COVID, but we'll be meeting over at 6 p.m. in front of the Memorial Building, 3208 York Street. Also a reminder from the Department of Public Works, disconnect your garden hose before winter. Reduce the risk of the pipes freezing and bursting when water expands and causing a bigger problem. And I mentioned Election Day, so if I seem distracted, I may be checking things on my phone here as we go. See how things are going. That's all I have, and I'll turn it over to the town administrator.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the community. Under pending items, first thing, the federal relief funding, there's been no significant change, but I would like to thank our own Kelly Baldwin and also Debbie Stanford at the county. The county has been walking Kelly through this, and the paperwork is immense, and the tracking is crazy. But I want to personally thank Kelly and also Debbie over at the county for doing a good job for us. Under the MEMA storm reimbursement from the storm we had back in June or July, there's been no change. I haven't been notified of any change in that. The NR upgrade, that is still in review stage at MDE. Under code enforcement and zoning, you have in front of you the monthly code enforcement update. Under the Lippy Old Town property, I passed out the updated traffic study, and it's been sent out to, of course, you folks and also the Planning and Zoning Commission for their review. Raleigh's Garden, this is the house subdivision off of Grafton Street. The infrastructure of the water and wastewater has been completed. The storm water is approximately 60% complete, so that's moving forward. Also today, they did some milling and blacktopping over there, so that's coming to the end. And then we'll see when the houses start over there. Under miscellaneous items, on October 25th, Kelly, Michelle, and I met with Josh Cohn, who is the owner of Carroll Magazine, and also Donna, who is a writer for the magazine, in regards to spotlighting all the municipalities in their end-of-the-year edition, as well as strategies on how best to promote our town. Staff feels that it would be best for an elected official to spearhead this project if any way possible. There's a cost associated with it, but I think it would be in your best interest to sit down with Mr. Cohn and hear what he has to say to how we can spotlight our town. So that's something, it'd be nice if one of the electeds took charge of. Memorial benches. We received a request from a local residents to look into the cost of an installation of a bench and concrete pad in honor and memory of an individual similar to the ones that are in Cape Horn Park. So Ken Black, our park supervisor, researched the cost, and we did get back to the individual for their review of the estimate, and actually they liked the estimate. They cut us a check, and that process is beginning. So it's a good process, I think, in the future that people would want to donate a bench. Some of these benches out here, and plus some of the swings, are getting in pretty bad shape, so it wouldn't be a bad idea. This may start something for people donating benches back there. So the next thing is we've been working with Carroll County Bureau of Research Management in regards to a potential tree planting near the Bachman Road well. So this is an area which is about 2.56 acres and has a potential to reduce the total phosphorus by 4.656 pounds and total nitrogen by 28.47 pounds annually. So this area is out near the Bachman Road well. If we do go ahead and we do plant trees in there, it would save the town. We wouldn't have to go out there and mow it. We send a special tractor and mower out there to mow the field about 3 times a year, and it would help us out. So it would also help removing some of the nutrients out there. And also, lastly, I'd like to welcome Mr. Albert Burmeister, Peck Burmeister, who started on October the 24th as our facilities maintenance specialist. So Peck's doing a good job. So if you see him out there, tell him welcome. Any questions for me? Okay.
Anybody have interest in the thing with Cone? If not, Steve, I can contact online. I work around.
Yeah, it would
around
be.
the
It was very interesting. Kelly joined in, and it was very interesting, and the meeting we had, and yeah, we don't have any money in the budget, earmarked for that, but different ideas that he come up with may be worthwhile looking into. So.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to have a conversation. Anybody else wants to join me? Feel free.
Yep. Very good.
Any questions for the town administrator? All right, turn it over to Director of Public Works.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. One thing I want to add on the leaf pickup, our crews, it seems like there's more leaves out there than in the past. Our crew is going into Tuesdays the last couple of weeks, so just be patient. I've been getting some phone calls on that. For Public Works, please see the water and wastewater data report for October 2022. I also would like to welcome Albert Burmeister, nicknamed Peck, to the town of Manchester. He's our facilities maintenance specialist, and he, as Steve mentioned, he's doing very well, fitting in just great, and he started October 24th. Myself and staff attended the annual training hosted by Carroll County, and that's the annual NPDES Stormwater Pollution Prevention Training. And now, again, that was in Westminster at the Carroll County 911 Center, October 14th. The Manchester Water Line Replacement Project construction, that's starting to move forward. We're expecting material delivery mid-November. Also underwater, the Chevy 2500 truck replacement, that's a 2003. We have proposals received on that, and also the installation of a Meyer snowplow. Now, I separated this out because it's more reasonable or cheaper to outsource the plow installation as opposed to having the dealer install it. Under wastewater, the wastewater treatment plant, ENR upgrade, Steve already touched on this, nothing new to report. The inflow and infiltration investigation repairs, nothing new at this time to report on this. Parks and maintenance, the stormwater management inlet and piping repairs for FY23. This has begun, the stormwater management pipe replacement on York Street that was adjacent to number 1 North. That has been done, and the remainder of the project began today, actually. And that's an outside contractor, Stainballs Incorporated. The Christmas Tree Park ADA Playground Equipment Addition is at 100% complete. The contractor was Landscape Structures Incorporated, and our staff did the site work and cleanup work, mulching and such, and it turned out very well. The dump truck sale for that was the 2003 dump truck. If you probably saw it sitting out, and we had bids due Friday, November 4th. They came in less than expected. We met internally, and we are considering a public surplus auction website. The street and town facilities asphalt rehab projects were 95% complete. They still have some punch list housekeeping items to take care of. And lastly, the Charlotte's Quest Nature Center, the driveway repairs. I met with our maintenance staff, and we're going to we're going to handle this, the driveway repairs and the side ditch with the riprap. So I have 2 action items. I'll entertain any questions first, but I have 2 action items coming up.
Just a quick question, Rodney, on the dump truck sale. You feel like there's one of those public surplus websites do better than we got for the bids?
That's our hope. Hampstead uses them, this public surplus website. It's kind of like eBay. It's an auction website. I don't have all the information on yet. We're having a meeting with them next week, a Zoom meeting, Steve, Kelly, and I, and Michelle.
Is that something where we could set a minimum, so if we didn't?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Okay, we won't have to go through them all right now then. Okay, but it's not like we head down that road, we're committed to it, like turning over like an estate sale, somebody wins it for $15, they get the dump truck for $15 or something.
That's one of the things, put a reserve on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Have a reserve price.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do. I'm really having a hard time wrapping my head around the wastewater. Why, again, we're up. The amount of water that we're providing is down again, which is great. We had less rain last month. I'm really struggling with where is this water coming from? Like we treated another 802,971 gallons more last month for October than we did in September. We treated more in September than we did in August. Our wastewater number keeps going up. Yes, I get that September was rainier. I think it was like 5 inches.
It was.
We had less rain last month. Is there something broken? Is there something we're missing? Like, what is causing, where's the water coming from? Where's the wastewater that we're treating coming from? Yes, I know it could be some people draining out some pools to lower them for winter, but something's just not, it's not making sense why we keep treating more and more are all of our gauges right? Like, is there something going on that we're providing less water to the public, but we're treating more water, significant amount more water?
That's a good point. Steve and I were talking about the meters. We're probably due to have these checked out again. So that's one point. Last month the water table could have came up, and now it's starting to come down through the infrastructure. You meant maybe for some reason more water went down the drain in October than September. So we can only speculate. Like I said, last month more people may have been watering grass in September.
But at some point, we got to figure out where that water's coming from. Because if at this rate, we continue to just keep treating more and more each month, we're getting ready to get into winter, so we're going to have snow that's going to melt, that's going to cause I&I that we're going to have to treat. But something's not making sense to me that each month we continue to increase the amount that we're treating and not increasing. It's good that we're not using as much water. That's
Right.
great. But something's not adding up here. And I think we really need to take a hard look at it in the next month and figure out what it is and figure out how we need to fix it.
Yeah, the same analogy. When you talk about the water system, I looked at that number and I was very, very happy with the number that we pumped. So in the water system, you want to keep the water in the pipes. In the wastewater system, you want to keep the water out of the pipes. So, if you go back, I went back into the spring of the year, March, April, and May. And we were up around, 8 million gallons a month for those 3 months. And then we dropped down during the summertime. It could be that the water table is coming up. Now, the meter that Rodney alludes to is the final wastewater meter as the water flows out of the plant. So everything that's been treated passes by one meter, and it registers the flow. That could be out of calibration, let's say. But, yeah, you're looking at, I just did the math, and you're looking at 26,000 extra gallons a day that's being treated through our wastewater system. So, yep, good point, and I'm sure the staff will, check out and see what's going on.
We have daily readings in that, so that's like a monthly.
No, that's daily. Every meeting, it's read daily.
So we should be able to determine them pretty easily, right? If it's relatively straight line, or if it's, in conjunction with the heavy rain.
Right. Yeah, you can always bet, in the spring of the year, things are thawing out, snow's melting, and it's going to infiltrate into the pipes.
Yeah.
Now, is this a case where, as you said, for the previous month, I think we received 5 inches of rainfall, and this past month in October it was 3. So is the water table coming up and getting in through, cracks in the pipe? That's a possibility, so that's something we have to. But I think one thing we have to zoom in on is right out of the gate, just check that flow meter, make sure that's reading accurate.
How much would pools be a part of that, like in something like September, October?
On the water pumped, you can see that the numbers drop, so people aren't topping
Not
off
topping
their
off.
pools, right? Now, normally what they'll do is, if they want to pump their pools off, to get ready for fall and winter, they'll actually pump them out onto the ground, or they're not supposed to pump it into the street, but some of them do. So that doesn't go down the sewer system at all. That doesn't enter.
So it's probably not it.
Probably
Not pools.
No, and a lot of them are in backyards, so even if it did, by the time it got to where it could get absorbed, it's
Yeah,
absorbed into the
Right,
ground.
that is correct.
Yeah, probably in neighborhoods, probably a lot winds up in the management ponds.
That's true.
Do our pumps and gauges, are we able to see, is it like a particular section that's going up, or is it just overall? Like, as we're pumping into the treatment plant, can we see, is it like a certain, is it across town that it continues to go up? Is it certain neighborhoods? Could that focus us in?
You want to talk?
No, we just have 1 meter as it goes out of the plant.
But I think what she's saying is, each individual pump station, we can monitor how many hours those pumps ran during a 24-hour period. So if you trace it back, and let's say normally, let's use the Halley Hills pump station. Normally, those 2 pumps may pump a total of 2 hours total a day, and it jumps up to 4 hours.
Yes.
Then you got extra flow coming in from somewhere in that specific area. So whatever the drainage area is into that station, then you want to backtrack and see what's going on.
Thank you, Steve.
maybe those are some key data points to help us.
some things to kind of look to help monitor, figure out where
Yeah.
something's not right.
Okay,
I was happy to see that 293 number.
Yeah.
Because the water's like gold,
Yes.
and you gotta control the leaks, so.
any, other questions for Director of Public Works before we move into the action items? All right, Ryan, you want to hit us with the action items here?
All right, action item number one, that's the Chevy 2500 replacement. It's a 2003. We reached out to Dodge, Ford, and Chevy. We received a proposal from each, and these are equivalent trucks, 3/4 ton with, it's just a standard truck, work truck package, running boards, spray and bed liner, nothing fancy. So, and the 3/4 ton, as I said, and Dodge Ram, Lenstaller came in at $48,949. The F-250 Ford, Apple Ford, Columbia, Maryland, $51,834. And the 2500 Silverado at Lenstaller was, and that's Westminster, $55,890. So this does not count the plow, as I mentioned, the plow installation. So this is separate from that. And the amount of proof for this project is $40,000, and that includes the plow and the truck. So after discussion, I'm requesting the mayor and town council's approval to award this to Lenstaller Dodge in Westminster for $48,949.
A couple of quick questions, Ronnie. So you said that the budget amount is $40,000, which includes the resale. The resale's not in this $48,949 number.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Any estimate on what that is?
Well, at the end of the day, we're hoping to be in the black. We're hoping to get $16,000 for the Chevy.
Okay.
Last year, we got $15,000 for the one Ford, and we got $17,000 for the other Ford, so.
A reasonable assumption, it would be 9 at least? I guess.
Well, we're hoping 16.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that'll cover the plow and the truck.
Any appreciable difference that you'd be aware of where are the plows the same or the installation of the plow on different trucks would be all that different?
I'm sorry?
So, like for example, I see recommend to go with the Lenstaller Dodge Ram. I guess what I'm asking is, the difference between these three trucks isn't that great. The difference for putting a plow on it doesn't.
Same price for all three.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, and that's the next action item, actually, $7,100 to install it.
Well, based on the offerings you've got so far, which you said were far below what you'd hoped, what are the odds of getting to 16,000?
Especially with the
We
fact
can only
that
hope.
In the ballpark with what they,
I mean, Kelly Blue Book's 14,000, that's without the plow.
right?
but the used truck market has slowed down a lot. It has. The resale on it, there's a lot of used trucks sitting.
What were the offers we've already got, right? Do we know what they were? I mean, just.
We haven't got any, we haven't put it out yet for the Chevy.
Real quick, just to clarify, so we put out the '03 dump truck, and we weren't happy with what we got back for that. But then he's actually talking about his '08 pickup truck.
Probably
So-
different dump trucks and pickup trucks. Like
Just
some
making
ours.
sure, because I know he's got on here his '03 replacement, but it's
Okay.
actually
No
'08.
idea
Correct,
on this.
right.
Correct.
And to add to that, we had no idea the trucks were going to go up $15,000 from last year at budget time. I mean,
So what's wrong with the truck? With the current, the '03, that replacement? Like,
That's
what are we
an
looking?
we're back to the
Well,
same
this says
thing.
an '03.
I know.
Okay.
It's
So it's an '08, like
15.
mileage, like what's structurally wrong with it?
Russ is getting to it from the salting the roads. Russ is getting to it. It's affecting the components. That's the main issue. If it's out there right now, you can go look at it. It's starting to come through the body.
What are we looking mileage?
74,000 miles.
On 03.
Have we looked at a 22?
Oh, wait, oh, okay.
I'm sorry. It's an 08. My apologies. It's an 08. There was a 2022. Apple Ford contacted us about that. It had a western plow on it. Actually, Delbert and I went and looked at it. Had a western plow on it. We're not used to those. We go with the Myers. There's not too many dealers close by if we have trouble with it. Then to add it didn't have a strobe light. By the time you added the strobe light, we're just below what the Dodge is.
So when we look at the Apple Ford, is this the price that we can piggyback off of the state contract?
The price here right now, yes.
Okay, so 48,000 for a Dodge, roughly 49,000, not on the state plan.
Correct.
Have we looked at other Dodge dealers? Like, have we looked at 2022s to see if there's other Dodges out there? Maybe we need to look at the fact that it's not a ton lower, but if we're piggybacking off of their contract, maybe we need to look at trying some Dodges for a change. I'm very nervous that we're not going to get the 16,000 difference
I
in a
understand.
resale. And I'm hesitant if the truck is starting to show some rust due to salt, there's nothing we can do to protect that from any other truck that we're going to get. It's going to continue to happen.
Correct.
Because we're not spraying underneath, we're not doing anything to protect them. So this is going to continue to be an issue. If it doesn't even have 100,000 miles on it, and the only thing is it's got some rust, I'm very hesitant for that $56,000 price tag.
Okay.
But I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I know, like with the dump truck, we are in a different position. It was no longer safe to use on a daily basis to the extent that we used it the way that we used it.
Something else we talked about too. So the truck that I have is a 2012, my big truck. So that truck was actually bought with the snowplow package on it. No snowplow's ever been installed. So we were brainstorming and we said, well, look, what if we paid the $7,100, put a snowplow on that truck, and then we take the savings from the sale of the 08 and also the money that's budgeted and buy a Colorado or buy a smaller vehicle. Talk to Chief, and next year when he purchases a vehicle for his fleet, we may be able to take one of those over to use as a mail car, let's say. So there's a couple options we can look at. That is a 12. It only has 26,000 miles on it, but it's prepared with the exception of a strobe light and also a snowplow. So that's something we can look outside the box and see if we want to, go with that. So, but
I mean, I know the state uses some trucks. I know for a fact they have a 93 that they use. A state agency has a 93 that they use that has less than 60,000 miles. They will continue to run it until it hits a certain number of miles. It's not costing them. It's costing them less to maintain something at that age than it is for a payment. So, I mean,
another thing that
we need to look at Dodge. I think we need to look outside the box here.
Yeah, another thing we looked into, which we looked into this probably 4.5, 5 years ago, we looked at possibly leasing our vehicles to see how that would. Now the possibilities there, that may be an avenue to take. But when you're looking across, and I'll get off the tangent here, but when we did our budget back in January, we felt comfortable that figure was good. Well, unfortunately, over the last 2 months, 3 months, prices have skyrocketed because of the supply and demand. That being said, we have to take a hard look at our complete fleet. So we have 21, 24 vehicles across the board in our complete fleet. We have the backhoe, bobcat, tractors. We have some heavy-duty equipment. We have to think ahead when we prepare the budget to replace these vehicles, replace the equipment and the vehicles in intervals to make it pan out. And sometimes you don't want to get into a bind where you have a number of vehicles that are born in the same year, because that creates a problem. So it's just it's crazy the prices out there. It's absolutely insane. And,
Will companies lease vehicles to us to plow snow with?
who's that?
Like if, I'm just saying, will they let you plow snow with a leased vehicle?
I'm pretty sure you can lease almost anything. I know some contractors that lease a lot of their heavy equipment. But then again, it's a leased vehicle, you know, and you're responsible for any damage that occurs to it. So there's a lot of
Yeah, there's ups
issues
and
about
downs.
that.
Like, our vehicles are probably, I'm gonna guess, right, like, not be super high on mileage, but could be pretty worn out and beat up.
Engine hours,
Yeah.
right, that's correct.
Yeah.
Engine hours, the salt eats them up, you know,
Yeah.
but, yeah, so it's just the nature of the beast, but, yeah, so when you look across the board, you know, leaf vacuum, I mean, on down the road, I mean, that's our business, that's what we're in the business for, and, you know, yeah, so.
We lease almost all of our trucks and vans. Most of the big bobtails we own,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah, I think when you look into, you know, leasing a car or a van or a pickup truck that's not gonna be used, let's see, for heavy-duty work,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of what's getting at,
see
does
Then
that
you-
cross that threshold?
Yeah, you make that jump and, you know, but,
All right, so,
So we're tabling this for now and then coming back with looking at a few other proposals?
that's kind of what I was getting at, and, you know, it sounds like we have a couple of things to do, and I don't know even in one more month if we're gonna resolve the way that we do this and find a markedly better path.
What's the immediate need for the winter?
I was gonna look at Rodney, I can't answer that question for that truck. Is that truck, or is that
It's-
truck back as a spare, let's say?
Well, that's the one I use. It is, I mean, I don't have a route, but I help, when it snows, I come in and, well, it depends if we're shorthanded. I do take routes over with it. But it is usable, it works. I do need to add, the prices aren't, this is the best as it's gonna get. Ford, they have an order portal that opens November 15th, and they're only allowing so many orders, and it closes within a month, maybe 3 days. They're not sure. Dodge, he assured me that that's the best price they're gonna get. They're gonna go up in a month or two.
Well, I'm getting at is, do we go ahead and get the plow package and put it on your 2012 to get us through the winter? Is that
How
necessary?
about, so if we do the research, our staff will do
Yeah.
the research, see, there's a couple different scenarios we can go with,
Okay.
and then maybe research that out and bring it back to you in December.
I just don't want to get caught with our pants down with a snowstorm.
I don't believe that truck, as Rodney said, that's not one of our frontline trucks.
Okay, good,
So
good.
that's more of a spare. And then, yeah,
I just have one issue. It's a longer wheelbase. It wouldn't be very good with cul-de-sacs, your truck, in tight spots. It's got a longer wheelbase.
that's in,
That's the only issue I would have with putting a plow on your truck,
yeah, that's no problem.
Okay.
so,
All right, so
okay,
we're gonna table that.
okay.
Anything else for Director of Public Works? All right, turn it over to the chief for the police report.
Yes, sir. For the month of October, we handled 315 calls for service, and basically through emails, dispatch, phone calls, 30 of which were out of town to help Hampstead PD out and Carroll County Sheriff's Office. We investigated 0 Part 1 crime. We didn't have any Part 1 crime, no thefts, nothing. Our big,
Like that? Good?
why you gotta interrupt my flow?
I heard him very
I'm
well.
trying to get through this.
Heard him very well.
All right. So,
Hey, he's not the one that made 10 copies.
kidding me? Are you two done?
I'm
Can I finish?
good.
All right.
I can text.
You're on TV. So anyway, we had that juvenile problem back in September, and we had a group of kids that were running around town. And they destroyed a lot of, they destroyed the mail trucks, the mirrors, and did the damage. We ID'd them, we talked to their parents, and then we found out we couldn't charge them. Because under the new juvenile reform law, at the age of 13, unless it's a serious crime, you can't be charged. So we got all the information, we turned it over to the post office for whatever action they deem appropriate. We're hoping that it cut down on them, we haven't really seen them too much, and hopefully the parents stepped in and took care of that problem as well. But they have been identified, they were all from the middle school, and I think the oldest one was 13 years old. Who knows what they were doing out 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, but my guys have been seeing them all over town. So we are working on that problem. Hopefully it stopped, and the schools were notified, and we took the best action that we could take. We have been busy because of that. Our citations and warnings with traffic enforcement has dropped a little bit. I should say a lot. We only issued 55 citation and warnings this month. We did have a serious DUI incident. A gentleman came out of Westminster, had a couple hit and runs at Westminster. State police were coming at him. He then decided to cut up Route 27. He broke off on Westminster Street. He came to the traffic light at Main and Westminster, and he struck another vehicle. So when our officers got on scene, he then continued to ram the vehicle to try to elude the police. We all boxed him in. After a couple steps we had to take to remove him from the vehicle, he was arrested without further incident. So that was resolved. Overdoses appear to be heading in the right direction. Year to date, the county has 279 versus 342, the same period last year. So that's good news. The same goes for fatalities, 41 versus 53 last year. So the numbers are definitely heading in the good, right direction. Manchester, for the month of September and October, we had 0. We still have 7 for the year. Hampstead has 7 for the year. Sykesville has 1. Tawnytown has 13. Mount Airy has 3. Westminster has 90. And New Windsor has 1. And Union Bridge has 0. So, but those numbers definitely appear to be going in the right direction. It seems like there's less calls. I think the overdose calls have dropped.
Yeah,
I would think they've dropped. So things seem to be going in the right direction. That's about it. Halloween was a good, it was rainy, it was dark, but the kids were out, we were out. We just had one fender bender. 4 teenagers were in a hurry over there on Halley Hill. They all bailed out of their dad's F-150 Ford pickup truck, fairly new. The kid in the back left the door open, and some poor young teenage girl come up the road. It was dark, it was rainy, she's putting along, and she took the door off. So that was the only incident. Everything else was good.
Very good. Any questions for the chief? All right, budget, fiscal year 23 budget amendments, the sewer fund, increasing revenue by $2,438,62, which is ARPA, I'm gonna probably mess this word, that's called tranches. And then increasing future capital expense, the wastewater treatment plant ENR upgrade by the same amount. Kelly, do you wanna?
I just need a motion.
Okay. Beyond that, I think you guys are all aware of it. You guys are in the meeting. Anybody have any other questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to make that budget amendment to the sewer fund?
I'll make a motion, we make the budget amendment to the sewer fund.
I'll second the motion.
Motion, second, under discussion. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Right.
All right, motion carries unanimously. Kelly, this is just I think thing we used to have, I'm sure there's just an omission, we used to have questions and comments from the community, I believe, before committee reports. All right. Well, does anybody have any friendly crowd here tonight on election night? Anybody have anything they want to bring up?
You're batting 1,000.
I'm telling you, she really is.
Do you have anything to say?
All right. Hearing none, we'll move into committee reports. Councilman Cuneo.
Thank you. The Planning and Zoning Committee did meet last month, and after a lot of back and forth, we finally signed off on the last of the landscaping for the Maverick One Solar project, so that should be moving forward. That was it.
Councilwoman Miller.
All right, it's kind of hard to believe, but we are getting into the holiday season. I have reached out to the art teacher at Manchester Elementary School via email to see if the students would be interested in creating tree decorations for our town tree in front of the historical center. In the past, they've been able to decorate them, and when she's when years have permitted, she's been able to bring them down and the kids have decorated them. In addition, we do want to open that up to other children in the community. So if you're an Ebb Valley student, you go to North Carroll Middle, Manval, you're into arts and crafts, you have some time to kill. If you're a grandparent with your grandkids, looking for something fun to do, please feel free to do decorations for our town tree. The tree will be set up the week before Thanksgiving, so we're shooting for that Friday. I'm drawing a blank on the date, the Friday before Thanksgiving, that you could feel free to stop and add some decorations to our town tree. Additionally, prior to our next council meeting, please check the fire department Facebook page because Santa will be in town. They're doing their annual Santa detail pending weather, the first 2 weekends. And from what I understand, they're going to continue to do their Facebook Live update type things where they'll periodically post on their Facebook page where they are in each of the neighborhoods, what street they're headed to or what they're finishing up. So that way parents and children aren't sitting outside for 2 hours waiting for Santa when they hear him in the neighborhood. Kind of gives them a little bit better idea of when to put their coats on. So make sure you check that. That'll give you when it gets closer, their schedule and where they're planning on being each night, as well as information on their breakfast with Santa.
Very good. Councilman Shelley.
The North Carroll Business Alliance did not meet in October. Their next meeting is next Thursday, November 17th, where they will elect new officers. Nothing else.
Very good. Councilwoman Howe.
We haven't had a meeting yet this month, so I have nothing to report.
Councilman Richardson's not with us tonight. A couple of reminders, tree lighting, I'll be up there, if you guys are able to make it. Always a pretty good time, weather dependent. And some where it's super warm, you wear shorts, other ones it's just like, can't wait to get out of there, it's so cold, so hopefully it's nice. And then a council meeting on Tuesday, December 13th. And then depending on how things are going and open items, we may look to schedule either a special meeting or use one of our secondary meeting night, which we hardly ever use for anything, but except for as needed. So that's all I have. Anything else for this group? All right, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right. Good night, everyone.